All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Holiday. Today's guests are Jay. You've seen him on other episodes, and we have L.A. Brooks.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege for y'all to be here with me.
I know that's right. All right, so as y'all know, the Wyatt Six arrived and raised hell on Monday Night Raw, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So, what y'all think about that? Let's start with LA.
All right, so I got to take it back to like all the different factions that we kind of like watch like growing up in wrestling. Like Undertaker when he did he had the Ministry. I mean, like even like Edge, Christian when they had the Brood. Even the Undertaker outside of being in the clique where he was just like the guy that faced all the monsters. It just feels like in those kind of cliques, if you weren't challenging for a title, especially like a world title or the tag titles, it kind of became like a flash in the pan, where it made sense. It was the build-up was exciting, but the outcome, couldn't hold up to like the build of it, because it's like, all right, why do we care? You know what I'm saying? So like Bray Wyatt, I was a fan. I'm always be a fan of, like just Bray Wyatt, like his mic skills. He had like kind of that devil may care charisma, slash, like the Jim Jones cult type of, style that he brought. And it was something different in wrestling during the time where it seemed like every wrestler was trying to be more reality based, right? Like, hey, I'm this character, but I'm giving you me, my authentic me, a la CM Punk, right? So here comes Bray, and he's taking on this character, and he's doing it in such a way that you gravitate to it, even though it's a character. You know what I'm saying? So you become vested in him. But I felt like what ended up happening was, if he wasn't going for the title, he would get in these feuds with guys, and there was no real like meat or prize at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Where now he moves on to the next guy, and then the guy that he was kind of feuding with kind of goes in obscurity. Like it happened with Undertaker a lot, where when he would fight the Yokozunas, the Giant Gonzaleses, these big like monsters, he would do it in a big event, and then they would go away, and you didn't really care about him because there was no reason for you to care about Giant Gonzalez other than he was a monster to go up against Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? But now with wrestling now, you got to care. You got to care about the winner and the loser. So you have to build a story behind. There has to be a reason behind everything that you're doing to make it kind of cohesive. You can't just get beat by Bray, have Bray Wyatt burn you down in a fire, in a building fire, and then 3 weeks later you on Raw with like no bandages, no nothing. Now you feel with the next guy. It kind of messes up the whole continuity of it. So I say all that to say, with the Wyatt Six, I'm excited to see what they do with the Wyatt Six, because it's Bray. It's that follow the buzzers. It's that character in the world of reality. But if they don't have something to fight for, it's like, what are we doing? Like, we saw Chad Gable apparently die. You know what I'm saying? Like in that vignette, we saw Chad Gable a couple of hours earlier. He's beefing with Otis and everybody, and now he's presumed dead, right? So are we going to see him on Raw? Next week. So you know what I'm saying? Like, so when that happens, it kind of takes. I feel like it takes some of the fire out of it, because what is the payoff for having this Wyatt Six? So that's how I feel. Again, I hope, like, as a fan of wrestling, as a fan of character development, I'm a man child. I'm a big kid. When when I'm watching it, I'm 11 again. You know what I'm saying? I might as well get a bowl of cereal and but now I'm just making spreadsheets when I'm doing it. But I'm still like vested in that. So I'm invested in that storyline, and I hope that they actually bring something out of it. But it has to be something. They got to be fighting for the tag titles. They have to be, if they're going to be like the Destroyers, they got to be the guys that take someone out because they already hurt, so they're going to be out for a long time. It has to be something. It can't be we're going to beef with LA Knight for a couple of weeks, and then we hang him in the Wyatt Sick6 compound, and then he back on SmackDown a week later. We can't have that because it's going dull the fire of what that is supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Jay?
I agree with that. Well, to like piggyback that, I feel as though they kind of have to live up to these expectations. Like their opening, that coming out opening, it was so much like intricate details, and it was like well thought out, well executed. Like they was all over the arena. So I figure with that has to be the setup for they put a solid story together, is what I'm guessing. So I feel like they about to come through and definitely Bar. They're gonna tear some stuff up. Like,
Yeah.
I know they're gonna do that. And I think we all missed the the older brother Wyatt that passed. And it feels like they pay homage, but they also not doing it exactly his way, but the essence of his way. So, like wrestling, been waiting for this, and I think they're gonna tear it up.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with both of you. I think because this is in essence a continuation of what Bray was doing when he returned to the WWE before he passed away. I think that him and Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas, his brother, I think that they already had plans and ideas written out and in motion. So what this is an extension and also now a tribute to Bray. So I think things are going to be cohesive, and I think especially now because Vince is out of the picture, and the way that Triple H he lets things cook, and he lets storylines develop and characters develop, and it's not that hokey. The promos used to be real hokey and things like that. Like we talked about it before. Roman Reigns saying "suffering succotash" and all that. Like it's not that stuff no more. Like it's like people are allowed to just be themselves a little more and have more input. And I think with the Wyatt Six, that the way they arrived, it is going to put huge expectations on that group. But I think because this is born from the mind of Bray Wyatt, they're going to exceed the expectations, like easily.
Yeah. But now, all right, how do we get Raw next week though? Because they killed the production crew. Like they killed the production crew.
They probably gonna explain how they got out the back door and just in time. They're gonna have to explain how like you can't just be having us thinking murder just took place and like it's okay.
Yeah.
It was like 20, it was 20 bodies. There was 20 bodies.
It was
like
it was.
and you know, like again, the you understand it's wrestling. Like I get it's wrestling and these are storylines.
But they'll probably explain it. Because they maybe like poisoned or something. They got a move they do to knock you out, incapacitated. They wasn't dead, but they was just like, you know what I'm saying?
No, but come on, like we saw blood. Like we saw blood. Again, early in that, what was it? No, last week, the week after last week, before they debuted, we saw Brian Breaker put Ricochet through a windshield, right?
Mhm.
Ricochet is on a stretcher. They stretcher him out in the ambulance. Even, on this past Friday on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, where, he beats up CM Punk and brings him out, and then they take him in the back in the ambulance. Like, I saw people with blunt force head trauma laying on the floor. Like, you gotta explain that. And if you don't explain it, it kind of takes some of that mystique out of it. Like, even like when you think of, I go back to the Undertaker, because to me it kind of feels in the vein of that. Or even like a Nexus or Core, where they debut. Nexus debuts and they're beating up John Cena and they grabbing a dude by the tie and spitting on people. Like, it's like, yo, this is anarchy.
Mhm.
If you go from that 1 week to now having a sanctioned match, you just destroyed the whole thing. You just destroyed the whole thing a couple weeks ago. Now you're having sanctioned matches. It kind of makes the story, and again, majority of the fans now, like WWE, I don't think there's gonna, like, the casual fans come because now social media kind of aspect of it, right? Hey, I'm a Logan Paul fan. Logan Paul is wrestling, so I'm gonna watch wrestling because I want to see what Logan Paul is doing. Like, it's that thing. Now I feel like a majority of wrestling fans are like the quote unquote smart fans. We understand that there's backstage stuff. We understand the politics. Like, everything is a 24/7 dirt sheet. Like, we get that. So now we want a story that is going to entertain us, but it got to also make sense. They killed the production team. Like, I don't think y'all understand the production. So what, the WWE just hire a whole bunch of temps? Like, it got, like, like, to me, I want to see some problems with production in the next Raw, because the staff that's been working there for years has been has been unalived by the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
No ambulances, no movement, no thumbs up with a neck brace on to let us know they'll be okay. They were unalived the last time we saw them.
Yeah. But I think it probably will play out that way, where it's like, because remember when they did the walkout angle a few years back, and they had like all these people in their place doing stuff, so it was like commentary people. It was people sitting in for commentary. It was I think refs were sent out and stuff like that, so they can stage it like that. And I think with the Wyatt Six, they can go the route of when Sting first turned to the Crow. He didn't have a match for a year. They can have it where Wyatt Six just raises hell for a year, and they're like the specialty kind of thing that they just arrive, raise hell, and then they leave. But they're there. They're placed in the show, but you never know when they're going to strike or who they're going to strike.
All right, I can see that, but I also, and again, my memory is shot over the years, but I, like, a part of what I remember from, like, this thing from WCW was he may not have been involved in any matches or any, like, storylines that were happening on television. So he was kind of just a figure. It was a mystique of what is he going to do? Whose side is he on? Is he good guy? Is he still a good guy, Sting? Is he a bad guy, Sting? We don't know. All we know is he's brooding somewhere in the stadium, right? But there was no, like, interaction until maybe when they're ready to bring him on. And now there's somebody in the back that got attacked with a bat. Was that Sting attacking him with the bat? You know what I'm saying? Because now we're ready. They already, like, all right, here's what kind of grind my gears. And I might be a little anal retentive when it comes to wrestling, but this is how I fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they first did when they first started with the Wyatt Six, where you would see glitches in matches. And, like, I remember, I think I caught, like, the second and third one where there was a glitch and I, start, stop the replay. And then I saw it was a QR code. So, I clicked the QR code, and then it goes to this thing where you can see that it's like heavily produced, which is, I get it. It's WWE. It's $1 billion company. They're doing a hell of a job with production. Even from like the lighting that they, when someone's in the ring, you kind of see the rest of the arena go dark, and then they just have like the white light on the person centered in the square. Like that, the cuts. Where a wrestler might be doing a chain of moves, and every chain there's a different cut. So this angle front, angle left, angle back. That's dope. But the Wyatt Sick6 is supposed to be this gritty. We are raging against the machine. Follow us. I don't want to see like some super produced vignette from a QR code. First of all, how do Wyatts know how to use a QR code? Like how they know how to use a QR code. So again, like that part of it to me was kind of like, I get it. You're selling this thing. You're selling this group, and truthfully, there's more of a difficulty in selling them because the wrestlers that they're using, within this, like obviously Bo is going to be it. That's Bray's brother. You're going to have Bo. But even my man, I call him Dexter because he's always doing the weird stalking people angles.
Dexter Loomis.
Dexter Loomis. All right, his name is Dexter. All right, Dexter Loomis. Joe Gacy. Those guys, Nikki Cross, where you would see them wrestling, but they were more filler. There wasn't a lot of eyes on these characters throughout the year. They were more to look someone else look good, right? And then even when you kind of had these stories with them, it was like a mid card story. Dexter's stalking Miz. Like, all right, we're going to see this for a couple of weeks, but there was never anything to really invest us in them. And even my homie that I'm glad he's back from AEW. What's his name?
Rowan.
Rowan. Even Rowan, when he kind of went on his solo thing, we weren't really invested in that character as much as we were invested in him being around, like the Wyatts, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're trying to pull us in to really look at these wrestlers with a note of seriousness that they can really do damage. And to me, if you want to have that, you could have had the same impact without showing me dead bodies. Because now it kind of goes back to me where I'm a fan of Bray. Bray gets on the mic. Rest in peace, Bray. He gets on the mic and he's going to sell it. You're going to believe that there's something about his opponent that he wants to break. Whether it's John Cena and John, he feel like because of John's popularity, he's got opportunities that he shouldn't have got. So now I'm gonna play mind games. With that, like those things are cool, but when you beat John Cena in a WrestleMania match, which is like a production of being John Malkovich, but being John Cena, it's like, yeah, this is cool, but what story comes out of this? LA Knight, when LA Knight beef with Bray, when Bray was the Fiend, it kind of killed LA Knight's theme, where he was coming off of being with Maxine Dupree and those cats to just kind of being back on his own as the LA Knight, and now he's going up against Bray, and Bray wants to hurt him, but why? Like there's no real rhyme or reason. And now LA is trying to sell it like, well, I'm calling you out, you calling me, I'm calling you out. And then he throws LA Knight off of a 30-foot thing, and then a couple weeks later, LA Knight's back, and then now we're forgetting about it. Like there was no, hey, this match with the Fiend made me a better competitor or a better wrestler, or I know I can't trust anyone to keep my eyes open. It was just like, okay, who's my next opponent? And that kind of, to me, it kind of just takes a little bit off of it, especially like if you're doing it after like WrestleMania. I feel like WrestleMania is kind of like the season finale of WWE, right? Everything kind of leads up to certain pay-per-views. Like you got SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series now with the War Games, but there's certain pay-per-views that Royal Rumble, where it's kind of canon and what's happened in the ultimate story of like this wrestling thing, right? Every other show there might be like filler matches where they do something to make you care, but like, hey, he's not losing the title at at Crown Jewel. A guy that's supposed to be going to WrestleMania at the end of the year is not going to lose the title or be made to look weak on an offset pay-per-view. So now, if you're doing that and it's not that, you're just kind of turning the page on this feud when you're beefing with someone like like the Wyatts or Bray Wyatt or Undertaker, these type of like supernatural, I'm tapping into, your mind. If there's no payoff for it, or if we don't learn anything from it, we don't really care much about the opponent afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, who they gonna beef with? The Judgment Day? Like, are we gonna see the Wyatts versus the Judgment Day? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you made a lot of good points. I'm gonna go back to what you first talked about, the QR codes. Some of it was like WWE production, but I think what they did a really good job of was using the lo-fi videotape, grainy kind of stuff on a lot of this stuff, and then it was also in those QR codes. It started being reasons and information on why they did what they did last week. It was saying like, they're all set free now. A massacre is coming. It was like, it was stuff being said along the way, and it was kind of giving clues to who was going to be in it and why and things like that. And that touches on what you said too about, they weren't the superstars. They were like, Nikki Cross was in forgettable kind of matches for the past year or so. Joe Gacy, he was like putting people over at NXT. Dexter Lumis wasn't doing anything. But how they're making it is that Uncle Howdy came along, set them free, and allowed them is now allowing them to be who they are, who they were meant to be.
Wait, is that why Uncle Howdy killed Chad Gable?
Because Chad Gable.
That sounds exactly like what Chad Gable did with the Alpha Academy.
It does in a way, but Chad Gable, he was okay. I'm gonna change topics because this touches on something else. Chad Gable was initially taken out of his match on Monday, and then I think on Friday they said a doctor cleared him. So we're gonna see how he's gonna be on Monday. So if he shows effects from being mollywop with a mallet, which is what he should show on Monday.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah, or something could happen where the Wyatt Sick shows a sign in his match or before his match, and he just doesn't participate. So that's another thing.
But see, now here's where I have it. Here's where I have an issue with that, because Chad Gable, for over a year now, it started with Gunther, where he just had this just like desire to win the Intercontinental title. It like it meant something to him. And I think that's part of why we can see kind of the goofiness of Alpha Academy and not let that affect how we feel about the Chad Gable character. Because, you know, we see this guy where he, what, like 5'6"? I mean, he's super short, but he obviously has a wrestling pedigree. So you see his matches and you're vested in the matches, even with Otis gyrating outside and Yan and Tozawa just being Tozawa, you know, like, but we don't really care much about that because we care about, you know, Chad Gable. So now you had him lose to Gunther. Cool. Gunther is a beast. Where is Gunther, by the way? But that's a whole nother story.
He was one of the people. He was one of the people laid out.
Gunther was laid out.
He was one of the people.
They laid Gunther out.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta go with that man. WWE, it doesn't make sense.
But they make the only reason, my fault to cut you off, but the only reason I'm okay with that is because technically he needs to come back before SummerSlam. So if they needed to get him off TV just to save him the SummerSlam until he got his title match for winning King of the Ring, I'm okay with that.
But all right, I'm okay with that too. But I just don't feel like you need Gunther is so like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was written off of TV from WrestleMania. He had so much equity, so much sweat equity in who he was and has been, you know, kind of as the flag bearer for Raw for, you know, like really the past couple of years. I mean, like between him and Judgment Day, like that was Raw, you know, for like the past couple of years. So he can go away. We don't need to see him get hurt. Like we obviously know he was hurt. His knees and is just about to wear on his body. So then he goes away after WrestleMania. We don't need to see him get beat down in a way that explains him going off of television. Like he can just go away. And then when he comes back, it's like he never left because he's Seth freaking Rollins. I feel like Gunther is in that same boat. Like we've watched him dominate the mid card, for lack of better term with it, you know, for over damn near 2 years. So I don't need to see him get beat up by the Wyatts or see him look like he's unalive by the Wyatts to come back. He could take time off and then just come back and, you know, come to the ring after you know, the match at SummerSlam and get in the ring and say he's challenging for the title. He could do that because he has that equity. I don't need to see him, you know, out. And now going back to Chad Gable with it, that's why where I'm confused with the direction that they're going, because we've seen Chad lose to Gunther in you know 3 matches. We've seen him now lose to Sami Zayn. So now that he lost all these, we're just not going to put him in that IC title. We're going to feed him to the Wyatts. Because now he doesn't have like that same type of Gunther or Seth Rollins cachet, where if you take him off of TV for too long, we can forget about Chad Gable and it's not going to be the same. So, you know, if he comes back and now he's feuding with the Wyatts, you're going to have the Wyatts beat him, you know, because it's the Wyatt Six. This is their new debut. They can't necessarily lose. And now if you have to squash them, it just like hurts whatever push or whatever type of money that you think you can get out of the Chad Gable character. You're killing it by putting them in there with the Wyatt, because it's like, for what? Why are they bothering him? And when he loses to them, because he will lose, so like, what is he going to join the Wyatt Six now? And you know what I'm saying, or like be one of their disciples? Or it's like, no, I don't need that, man. And I didn't even know that they had Gunther back there too. That's
Gunther and Braun Strowman was down too.
I didn't see Braun. See, that's
it was like was, but it was reported that they purposely targeted certain people to be laid out, and they purposely had other people lead the arena. Like it's connected somehow, but we're gonna see it play out. But the Chad Gable thing also, it wasn't known if he was gonna re-sign with the company.
Yeah.
So I think that was a way, kind of, if he was leaving, they could have wrote him out. And I'm guessing that sometime over the last week he must have re-signed a contract, and now
I think he re-signed before Clash at the Castle.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I don't know the rhyme or reason of why they laid certain people out, because it was other people there. Seth Rollins even came back at the beginning of the show. Seth Rollins was there. The Judgment Day, Damian Priest.
Main event, Jey Uso was there.
Yeah, Jey Uso was celebrating the crowd, and then he just, as soon as he got down off the chair, the lights went out. So it was like certain people were targeted, and I'm like, okay, I want to see how it's going to play out, because especially now, because it's not Vince doing this anymore. So I kind of have a little more faith in the direction and how the storytelling, because I can't lie to you, since it's been under Triple H, this past, I don't even, 8-9 months, I've enjoyed the storytelling. I've enjoyed the matches. I've enjoyed the character development. Like WrestleMania 40, I can't think of a weak spot from WrestleMania. Like,
Usos, but
I mean, but even that,
that Usos match was horrible.
Yeah, but even that, right? From because the emotion in the match was still there and stuff like that, I still can't say like, oh, that's the worst match I've ever seen.
No, well, not the worst match. There have been some pretty bad pay-per-view matches. Like if you go back to like the 90s, look at like a couple of the matches that we cared about back in the 90s, like the Perry Saturn with the mop versus Al Snow with the head, shit like that.
Oh, yeah,
you had some ridiculousness there. But I think like with the Usos match, the reason why I didn't like all the super kicks was like when you listen to message boards, look at message boards, Twitter, all that stuff. When they talk about comparing AEW versus WWE, they always talk about how AEW is supposed to be like the wrestlers' wrestling show, but it's like a super kick fest. Like all the matches when you got the Young Bucks, it's a super kick fest. So now you have Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy and Jay are twins. They know each other in and out. Can we get some I'm gonna try to hit you with this, but I've been trying to hit you with this for all my life. So you reverse it, and then I reverse you, and now there's a stalemate. Like I needed to see a little more of that. I need to see a little more like anger. Hey, you was my brother, and you left me to go be main event Jey Uso while I'm here playing second fiddle to Roman Reigns on the bloodline. Like, I need to see that, like they had, a couple of years of, I think a year of, kind of just going back and forth about trusting Sami Zayn, and you don't trust Sami Zayn, but now you trust Sami Zayn, but I don't trust Sami Zayn. And like that was all should have all accumulated into this wrestling match. And it just seems like it felt like in that match that there was a potential script for how the match was supposed to play out, but somewhere down the road they just decided, F it, we just gonna wing it. Here, super kick me. All right, and now I'm gonna get up from the super kick that you just gave me, and then I'm gonna super kick you. All right, it's my turn. Let me super kick you. And, like it just became like they were super kicks. You know what I'm saying? Like they were back in the backyard or at
wrestling
academy, just kicks and the super kick slap. You know what I'm saying? Like So it could have. I felt like that match could have been a little better. It could have been a little better.
Yeah, y'all right. I think because I think WrestleMania 40 overall was so good, I kind of forgot about that match. But now y'all make y'all repeat it in my head. The storytelling.
That was like the only thing. That was the only thing I could say that was bad. That was the only thing.
The storytelling leading up to the match was excellent. The storytelling in the match didn't match up with it.
Yeah, the build-up was excellent. The build-up was amazing, but then when they got to the ring, one of them must have been hurt. They couldn't do what they wanted to do. Like
maybe, it had to be some type of improv. Someone just changed the story at the last minute.
Or the time got cut.
That's possible too. Yeah,
because sometimes times get cut, and sometimes in the past matches got cut from WrestleMania that were advertised.
Well, shit, they gave him like 15 minutes. They gave him like 15 minutes in that fight. I feel again. I don't know the. Was it? I don't know the copy box times, but I feel like that match went on long, or maybe it seemed long because it was just a whole bunch of super kicks.
Probably. Yeah, I think that's what it was, because I think their entrances, that probably added to the 15 minutes. So their actual match was probably 10 minutes, and it was probably 8 minutes of super kicks.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that the super kick has been so watered down. That used to be sweet chin music, and it used to be one and done.
The super kick isn't your father's super kick. It's a lot of moves like that. That like I don't like how they made the power bomb something that you can kick out of.
Oh yeah.
The superplex has gotten washed down. Mm-hmm. I'm really starting to hate the flying out of the ring, because it I get from a health perspective, like we've seen so many accounts of wrestlers jumping over the ropes to attack their enemy outside and missing a mark, and they don't get caught, and then they get a concussion. Or so I get the safety part of it, but it becomes so contrived. Like here, all of a sudden, everyone that's in this match has found a way to get to this one pocket of the ring. Here comes the fast guy with the athleticism hopping over to get caught by everyone, including his own partner or partners. It takes a little steam out of it,
Especially when they're not. If they just sometimes this is the part I hate, when they just stand there looking up, and you like at least before they used to be fighting. Okay, like they doing something, and then they would the person would do the flip or whatever and dive on them. When they just stop and stand there and look up, it's like, all right, come on, man.
They literally be like,
they catch him. They just catch him. Like that's how they catch him and fall.
That takes thing out of it, and I'm really tired of people kicking out of people finishing moves.
Oh, yeah, it happens so often. That used to be a rare thing.
Yeah.
I think, don't they usually say that for pay-per-view?
Somebody kicking out of the stunner?
It's a pay-per-view move. That's a pay-per-view move, ain't it?
It used to be. Now it's like Raw, SmackDown.
It's everything. NXT. But even when, all right, Steve Austin the stunner, you could probably use one hand and name all the people that have ever kicked out of Steve Austin's stomach, right? And really, what is it? The Rock, Triple H,
Undertaker,
maybe Brock Lesnar. No, I don't think he ever fought Brock Lesnar.
No,
but it's not a lot of people that kicked out of the stunner, and that's what made the stunner so crazy. When Shawn Michaels hit the sweet chin music, he was out cold when he hit it. Like now, Seth Rollins curb stomps you and you kicking out. Like what are we doing? Like you get an RKO and you kicking out. Like these aren't moves that you're supposed to kick out of. And I get you trying to tell a story, but if that's the case, man, like you gotta get a little more creative. Like don't have them do the move so often, because especially if you like the Cody cutter. Cody would do the Cody cutter like 3 times in a row, right? It take the sting out of it. You gotta do this 3 times in a row. to knock him out. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe it's like because wrestling fans, you know, again, I've been watching this since I was like maybe 10, and I'm a man. I'm 40. So you know, after, you know, damn near 30 years of just looking at this, you know, it's not much that can shock, awe, or surprise me. So if they're doing that to kind of, if WWE is doing that to curtail the fans that are too smart for their own good, do fans make the product get watered down, or is it just like a matter of we've seen it all, done it all? There's not much else that we could do from a story perspective. Because I just don't feel like fans would really accept, you know, everyone kicking out of a Hulk Hogan leg drop. You know?
Yeah. You gotta think about the generations too. Like our generation, right? When we were watching because we were into it. Like we were genuinely into it, the characters, the match, and everything. Now people get so bored so fast that it's like you gotta do something crazy every couple seconds. Like it's so the matches move so fast. It's not that build that this should be like a slow burn in wrestling matches and stuff. Now it's like everything is so fast because people start chanting "this sucks" or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll do stuff like that when it's a good match, like, you know what I'm saying, but it's just not the acrobatics and it's not fast paced and this and that. Like sometimes
we ruin wrestling.
Sometimes you gotta be invested in the storyline and the emotions and things like that. Like it's not always about the move set. Sometimes it's about watching them build a story.
Yeah. And I know you were saying that that Triple H has done a good job in doing that. Yeah, he has to an extent. Like it's some things that I don't really get. Like I don't get the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross. You know, are they? Because again, going back to the Wyatt Six are now like the world destroyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Authors of Pain and what's that squad name? I want to say Doomsday. I don't know their names, but like they were.
I forget what are they called. I forget.
And that's a part of that's a part of the problem, because they are supposed to be the world beaters, but we don't. You know, like we don't, and they wasting Paul Ellering, man.
Yeah.
Like they need to put Paul Ellering with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Like they need to be the new Legion of Doom.
Yeah, that I mean, Triple H is high on the Authors of Pain, and that's who they were with, Paul Ellering, and
he don't make them. They don't seem like monsters. Like like they look like like when they're in there, you see like these supposedly 2, 6'3", 6'4" monsters. They supposed to like just leave nothing but like bodies in their wake, but they just seem soft. Like I haven't seen like an Authors of Pain match and just, like when you watch the Legion of Doom, you knew. I mean, they only had like 3-4 real good moves, and it pretty much accumulated with the joint where he came off the top rope with the clothesline.
The Doomsday device.
The Doomsday device. There you go. But they had like the look. They came out with the shoulder pads and they was like amped up, and you know what I mean, like water and rush. Like you felt it. You don't feel that with the Authors of Pain. They just come out. Like, are y'all security? Like, what are y'all? What are y'all supposed to be? And then you put Karrion Kross with them, and even Karrion Kross is supposed to be like this big destroyer. But like you got him looking. He looked goofy in matches for the most part. Like I haven't gone back and looked at it and said Karrion Kross. Like when Logan Paul came in and you saw Logan Paul wrestle, I don't know, for me. Maybe I think like the second time that I saw him wrestle, I was like, all right, you need to put a strap on Logan because he, you know, like he has it. He has the, you know, the charisma. He has the mic skills, and he puts on an entertaining match, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff kind of be green that he does. He kind of don't sell certain moves, but that come with kind of, you know, being in the ring and learning the psychology of the ring. You look at Karrion Kross. What belt can you legit see on the Karrion Kross?
Early on, I thought he was gonna be like something because
he was gonna be a world champion, heavyweight champion.
When he was in NXT, when he first came to NXT, before they brought him up and Vince ruined him with that gladiator gear that they put on him, and then he got fired and they got brought back. When he was in NXT, his run as NXT World Champion,
yeah,
he was what he should be. But when he got to the main roster, because there's so many people, he doesn't have a place. Because you're not gonna have him put on over get over Cody. You're not gonna put him over Damian Priest or Seth Rollins before that. What are you gonna do? And then the mid card titles, you're not gonna have him interact with Logan Paul. And then they could have him and Sami Zayn beef, but when would that happen? And then what would create the storyline? So like he's kind of lost in the sauce right now.
Well, then is that storytelling?
I mean, they're on TV every week. So they're doing something, but it's like it's forgettable. Like that feud, I feel like the feud with them and Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, it could have been something more that could have propelled both of those groups to be something more. But after that feud ended, I feel like both of the groups are doing worse.
They are. I mean, you I feel like you had the Hurt Locker. The Hurt Locker was a faction that felt important when it was going on. You know, even if Bobby Lashley didn't have the straps on it, like it felt important.
Yeah.
So now you have Bobby Lashley. He's the mouthpiece. He's telling the Street Profits, you know, follow me. You know, I'm gonna take y'all to the promised land. The Street Profits are still the Street Profits. It feels like in matches where if the whole premise of having Bobby Lashley around these guys was, hey, you're not taking this seriously enough, Street Profits. You want to come out here and drink your red cups and high five and do the little dances. Now you were the world champion, and now we're going to be reserved. But if you look at the Street Profits matches after getting with Bobby, they're the same as the Street Profit matches before getting with Bobby. So it just didn't seem like that there was enough invested in telling that story. It could be maybe because, you know, you got the Bloodline, and Judgment Day that are really, and maybe if you want to put Alpha Academy in there, I don't, but no. like Bloodline was like, this is prime storytelling. This is a group. This group means something. You know, the Usos are decorated tag team champions. Roman Reigns is just a monster. He can't be beat, right? So now when we see storylines and feuds with them, it means something. With the Judgment Day, they work because Rhea Ripley was just so over as the women's champion. So just having her on there, and then kind of her and Dominic really are like the reason why, to me, I was a fan of the Judgment Day. Like the type of heat that Dom get with just opening his mouth, just the boo, like, like that's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen a lot of heels come out that Karrion Kross comes out. He's not booed. Just people are just like, all right, it's Karrion Kross. You know what I'm saying? There's no applaud. There's no boos. It's just dead. Dominic gets out there and it's heat from the get-go. The minute he put the mic up, boo! and then like Rhea just being the Caucasian Bianca Belair, like as far as the athleticism, the strength, she can talk. She talks better than Bianca on the mic, but you care. You know what I'm saying? So now because them two are in the Judgment Day, you care about the Judgment Day. Holmes, so those are the two factions that I feel like that. I don't know if it's a matter of WWE or Triple H bringing this elaborate story for them, or if it's just a matter of we don't have any incentive to care about the other ones. We don't have any incentive to care about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. There's no strap on Bobby Lashley. Street Profits are not vying for any tag team title. They don't really have a mouthpiece. All three of them are really. They're not bad on the mic, but they're not holding you at the edge of your seats waiting for them to say something. Like MVP,
he was
he could sell. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. I know I'm all over the place. We need to bring back managers, man. Like some wrestlers don't need to talk. El Champion. I don't want to hear El Champion on the mic anymore, man. Like,
he messed up a lot.
And he's very well spoken, but the look that he has, I don't want to hear him talk. He needs a mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain wrestlers that just need everybody don't need a script. We need more managers. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll care more if we have a manager. But yeah, Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, no manager. We don't care. No story. No rhyme or reason. So we're not vested. Yeah. Karrion Kross and his new Doomsday folk. You got Paul Ellering, who was the mouthpiece for Legion of Doom, who were not that good on the mic. Legion of Doom wasn't good on the mic. It was Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like he was their voice. He just be there. He just be there with the newspaper in his hand. Like he don't say nothing. He don't interfere in no matches. He just be there with the glasses and the newspaper, just walking around. Like he don't even do it. So it's like, why do I care about them? And even the Alpha Academy, like I don't, I like Chad. I like Otis. I think they need to make Otis. They need to make Otis a heel and put Otis in a stable with Igar. What's not Igar? What's the Viking ball?
Oh, Ivar.
Ivar. They need to put him in a stable with Ivar and Bronson Reed. They just need to be like the big ball stable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just come out wreck shop, like if you were mid-carder and you got beef with another team or another faction, maybe he hired them to kind of, like beat people up for them, but they just need to be like Big Balls Incorporated.
Like the new APA.
Like the new APA. Yeah, because like they so like, and man, they talented. Like I just remember our big men, like Big Van Vader was just like an athlete. Bam Bigelow was an athlete. Earthquake had, was able to Earthquake was drop kicking folks. He was like 6'9", but we don't really see
Yokozuna. He was doing super kicks.
Yeah, he was. I ain't realized till like maybe 2-3 years ago that Yokozuna was Samoan. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, he's Samoan? Like I thought this dude was from Japan, man.
No, that was crazy. That was crazy though. They gave him Mr. Fuji. They carrying around the Japanese flag and everything. And come to find out, this boy he a bloodline member. Good.
He was doing all that, man.
To add on to what you said about the Street Profits, I was so excited when they joined up with Bobby Lashley because at first they showed glimpses that their attitude was changing, but then they would get into the matches and they would just be the same. And I'm like, no, this ain't working. I'm like, what was working for the Hurt Business was that their attitudes changed, and they had MVP talking about why their attitude changed. That faction shouldn't have been broken up as fast as it did. Like they didn't last no time, but they made a huge impact, especially during it was the pandemic era. Like
they were the reason why people was watching Raw.
Yeah, like they was on big things, and then out of nowhere, all the members even said it. They said they don't even know why they were broken up. It just happened, and I'm like, but Street Profits, I was excited because I was like, oh, y'all gonna have some direction. Y'all gonna be mean. They got in the matches. They was doing the same exact thing, and now they back being goofy again with B-Fab because Bobby Lashley injured.
Yeah, B-Fab. I don't even know. Like it's just none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense.
Yeah. They was like, oh,
LWO. Y'all care about the LWO? Come on.
Nah, it's like no. This is what it seems like. They were like, y'all Hispanic, Latin X or whatever. What's the new term for that group? Yeah, they was like, okay, LWO, Street Profits, B-Fab, Bobby Lashley, you're all black. We're gonna call you the Pride.
We're gonna round up you Negroes into one faction.
Yeah,
round you brown people up in your own little faction. You can go out there and kiss babies and make people laugh with your gyrations. Yeah, man. And you know what? I mean, maybe the initial Hurt Business was disbanded because the Bloodline started gaining steam.
Yeah, but they could have been just like the Judgment Day was on Raw and the Bloodline was on SmackDown. The Hurt Business could have been Raw and Bloodline could have been SmackDown. So they could have cut them both.
But who like, all right, again, Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley was the women's champion. So, and then you had, I guess, but then you kind of had Finn Balor and Champion. They were the tag champions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what belts would you have put on? Because you wouldn't have necessarily put the tag straps on Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So
they did have it.
They had the straps.
Yeah, they won the tag titles. They were the tag champions. Bobby Lashley was the WWE champion. And
okay, so who beat Bobby for the world champion? Was that Roman?
No, Roman was the Universal champion during that time. He didn't. Roman Reigns didn't win the WWE title until he beat Brock. And the titles.
So damn, they were around before because didn't they? So the titles were separated.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the Universal and then you had the heavyweight. But
it was a WWE title back then. Yeah,
WWE title.
Yeah, it was at that WrestleMania when him and Brock. I think Brock was the WWE and he was the Universal, and then that's when it became the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they had won the Raw Tag Team Championships back then. Bobby Lashley was the WWE champion, and things was going good. Then they dropped the tag titles. Bobby Lashley kicked them out, and then it was just Lashley MVP, and then they went their separate ways. Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like,
where is Omos? He
like a special attraction. So they just have him come out whenever. But he, for a big man, he agiles. I don't know what. Like he can move and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's hard to really sell it almost.
Mm-hmm. That's why they only bring Omos. Yeah, that's why they only really bring him. You'll see him come on TV. He'll go against Bobby Lashley. Or have a few with Brock Lesnar, because
is Omos the new Titus O'Neil?
Nah, he better than Titus.
No, but I mean like WWE have a vignette of WWE cares, our WWE superstars.
Oh yeah,
went to the girls' club to play a little basketball with the children, and then you see Titus O'Neil doing something. Like is that Omos now? Like He just
I think Omos do
the
that.
girls club.
I think Omos do be doing that, but Titus O'Neil, like, he completely shifted from wrestling to doing that. That's all he do now. He get.
All he do.
But yeah,
What is
Omos
that
do
called?
that. The ambassador.
Ambassador. Yeah,
Yeah.
the WWE ambassador. That's probably a good gig too. But I feel like, all right. Imagine you just going somewhere to do your job, right? Like, Jay, you going to a school to talk to some kids. And then when you get there, the kids are like, "Oh, we thought we was getting Holiday. Like where's Holiday?" You know what I'm saying? Like, that gotta be a salty ass feeling where, like, you go to like a boys and girls club, you think they're gonna be all excited to see you, and they're like, "Yo, where's John Cena?" Like, John Cena?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Who asked for Titus? I'm on my deathbed, and you bring me Titus? The nerve. The nerve.
That wasn't my wish.
I didn't ask for Bronson Reed. Where's Seth Rollins?
Right?
Oh, my.
No.
Yeah, but that probably is a good gig, man. I wonder how much you get for that, man, just to be a WWE ambassador.
He probably get a lot because he do a lot. He probably gets 6 figures.
That's nuts. Can you imagine making 6 figures to just like play fight with somebody a couple of days out of the week? Like, yo, I'm a body slam you, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna throw you with the leg kick, but you got to kick out at 2. But more like 2.5 than 2, though.
That would be crazy.
Man. Good time.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap it up, final thoughts. Where do you think this the Wyatt Sick goes next? We can start with Jay.
I'm thinking, like I mentioned before, they're gonna come to. You see what they did? They already apparently killed unalive people, so I feel like they're going to be injuring more wrestlers. If their story really going, I feel like you mentioned, they might have to have a tag team somewhere in the bunch. Like, they probably gonna do a couple, 3-way man tags, because I saw they got a female character too, right?
Nikki Cross.
Yeah, so gonna get her in the mix with the women. I think it's gonna be bright for these guys. Like I said, I'm getting back into wrestling. This definitely helps.
All right, cool. What about you, LA?
So, I'm a contrarian by nature, and I call myself a realist, but proponents and opponents alike have called me a pessimist. But no, I don't have like I feel like I've seen this story before. I think that we're going to see a lot of mayhem in the next coming weeks from the Wyatt Sick6, where they're going to inexplicably attack people that we care enough about to be interested in, but not enough where it impacts anything important in WWE. Like, I don't see the Wyatts attacking Seth Rollins. I don't see him, attacking El Champion. I would hope that this opens the door for just steady work for like a Bo Dallas and like these characters that are characters, right? From the nature of it, where it kind of opens the door to have more of those type of gimmicks. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't have to just be me, because maybe I'm me, but I don't talk well on the mic. So now I'm just going to be like this character. I'm going to be like a Doink the Clown kind of cat, where you're going to buy into me, right? So I hope it opens the door for things like that, but I do not foresee them lasting, unfortunately, that long unless they do something with them that makes us care. And I don't know if putting the tag title on them is enough. I don't think Nikki Cross is necessarily popular enough or strong enough or believable enough to put a women's title on her. And what, they're gonna put the world title on Bo. Like, so it's gonna be a lot of destruction that doesn't make sense, and then a lot of sanction matches that also doesn't make sense. But if we're entertained throughout, if the vignettes are cool or anything as good as the Bray Wyatt vignettes are, then I'll suspend my belief and buy in.
Yeah. My take on it, I think that it has a lot of gas in the tank as far as the Wyatt Sick in the storyline. I think just off the love of Bray alone and knowing that this is in tribute and continuing his plans, I think that alone will have people buying in. And also I believe that because Bo was involved with the last time that when Bray returned to WWE with the planning and everything, I think that he has that inside look and that mindset to kind of carry on the storytelling. So I think from those perspectives alone, that the storytelling is going to be good regardless. I don't know how the matches are going to play out. That's another layer that's going to have to unfold later on. But I think that the people that they selected to be a part of the group, I think their character development before they made this transition to the new characters were kind of building towards this. Dexter Lumis being a stalker and kind of lost. Nikki Cross just staring up at the sky in matches because she was lost. Joe Gacy subjecting himself to being just destroyed by everybody in NXT because he was lost. So now the lost souls have been gathered and they have a purpose. We just have to sit back and watch and see what that purpose is as it unfolds. And like you said, this gets us back to that suspending our belief. Yeah. Like when we would watch The Undertaker and lightning would come down and he would get burned in the casket but then come back. Yeah. Or it was things like that, but it was like when you're watching it, you was like, I'm invested. What I'm saying? I want to see how he's going to come back this time. And every time
lightning get into the stadium.
Yeah, like it would be crazy, but it was like when it comes to wrestling, all that is possible to suspend your belief for those 2-3 hours that you're watching the show. And I think the Wyatt Sick is going to get us back to that form of entertainment and wrestling and storytelling, and we just gotta let it unfold. And I'm excited to see it.
I am too. Yeah. Side note, Bloodline, let's go, Jacob Fatu.
Oh yeah, that when that Civil War happened, whoo,
it's gonna be nuts.
That's gonna be nuts. Crazy. Watch when Roman come back. They said Roman's supposed to come back next month.
Oh yeah, when is what's the next pay-per-view? Because this is SummerSlam season.
Is Money in the Bank first? Next, not this weekend. The following weekend on the 6th.
Okay,
July 6th, and then SummerSlam is after that.
All right, so they think he'll be back for SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I think it's building up to Survivor Series, Bloodline, Civil War. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
I'm trying to think who's gonna be the All right, because you got Fatu, Tonga and his brother, and
Solo
and young fella Solo Sikoa. I like his development too.
Mhm.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is it going to be? Roman, the Usos, and are we getting The Rock, or are they going? Are we getting Sami Zayn? Because that's the original bloodline.
That's what I was. I'm not sure. I was wondering. I was like, I think it's 3 choices. It could be The Rock coming back. Could be Sami Zayn, or it could be Zilla Fatu. He with Booker T promotion right now. He fairly new though, so I don't know if he's ready. But those are three options. If The Rock isn't busy, he could come back, be the final boss. But I think if he is in that match, he betrays Roman.
Okay. I mean, can Zillabatu throw somebody in the air and catch him, and then do a little back slam on him like Jacob?
I don't know. I know
that dude is athletic, man.
Yeah,
that dude is
Jacob Fatu is the real deal, but Zilla, I'm not familiar. I haven't seen his matches. I've just been hearing about him and Jacob, but I've been hearing Jacob is. I didn't see some of his stuff. Like, yeah, Jacob is that boy. Like you see what he did to Cody.
Yeah, with the frog splash, and it looked like he legit hurt his abs on that too. It looked like the table buckled, like the edge of it.
Yeah,
where his stomach hit, it looked like it buckled a little bit too, like it was supposed to, it was supposed to just fall flat, but didn't. But no, yeah. I'm excited. They finally got me invested back in the bloodline, adding him to it.
So. Yeah, definitely, man. But yeah, this has been a good conversation. Yes. Thanks, Jay, for coming on. Thanks, LA Brooks, for coming on.
Anytime, man.
You're always welcome to come back whenever. And until next time, thank you for watching Wrestling with Holiday. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. And
gotta smash that subscribe button.
You already know.
You do anything. If you don't do anything else while you're watching this, before you're watching this, after you're watching this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yeah,
you know it. That's courtesy of L.A. Brooks.
Yeah.
All right. Peace and love.
All right, man. Peace.